Hi everyone, welcome to the Fight with Teddy Atlas. I'm Teddy Atlas III, joined as always, my main man, my father, Boxing Hall of Famer, the pathetic one. Should I say the amazing Kreskin? Teddy Atlas. How you doing, bud?
See, that's the only time that I care if you pronounce words properly. Otherwise, I don't care. I love you. This is boxing. I don't care. Make sure you say prophetic, not pathetic. As long as you said that. No, I'm just saying. That's the only time I give a you know what's backside as far as pronunciation. Prophetic, not pathetic. But my son would never say that I'm pathetic, even if I was pathetic. Hey, bud, yeah, we made, as they say, out there, they say we made a little extra scratch for the people that have, well, I think all of you on the podcast, to be quite frank, but really specifically, we gave the under, because that's where you got the best odds, because you couldn't bet Ennis straight up. It was prohibitive. We understand that. Prohibitive. You're not laying $300 million to win $1. But, and the over was the betting favorite too. You had to lay on the over. But we took the under. And for the people that are part of our community that my son started a few weeks ago, it's growing, by the way. It is growing. The community's getting busy. The ropes. The people that are part of the ropes with the subscription base, they got a little extra. They got some early Christmas money, okay? If they were inclined to bet a little bit. We always say bet responsibly. So, and we even threw in a little, very carefully, very, very soft, but could have had a parlay with the giant Makhmudov. We threw in a little suggestion of that, even though that was a fight with Allen that was not a strong one, because, man, we hit that one perfect too. We really did, because the way we broke it down, that they both had the kind of flaws that made anybody's fight just ready for the taking. And it was that way all night. Makhmudov wound up getting a decision. We'll talk about that. We'll break that down. But yeah, a few people out there, you got a few extra bucks.
No question. A lot of our members in the ropes community are very happy. That's why I did call you the pathetic one, never the pathetic one. And 2 for 2 for the ropes community on your fight picks. And that's 4 for 5 since you've been putting them out there, including Terrence Crawford at plus 150 and Inoue, the monster, by decision at plus 325 or 350, depending on what you got it at. So we're on a roll. Again, check us out. We'll put up the link. That's the ropes. You could go to TeddyAtlasBoxing.com, and that will get you the landing page to access the ropes community. And we're talking about the picks because Teddy was hot and gave out some winners, but again, there's so much more. There's tips, there's tutorials, there's Teddy doing live Q&A Zooms, there's training, you name it, it's there. Come over, take a look. And talking about that, bud, that'll lead us into this week's fights. We're going to recap some of the boxing and UFC action. The first one we're going to start with are the heavyweights, a special attraction bout that was from the UK that was on DAZN. And that started off for the parlay, as you just said. That was Arslanbek Makhmudov versus David Allen. And a very intriguing fight we talked about in the preview coming up. You nailed it. You said that both of these guys had their flaws. You talked about the advantages of Makhmudov with his size and his length that came true. And it was a big difference in this fight. The one thing before I get into your breakdown and recapping this fight, bud, that stood out to me, in the lead up to the fight, there was a lot of talk about David Allen. At 33 years of age, coming off of the win versus Johnny Fisher and the momentum he had, fighting there in his hometown in the UK, that this was it. This was the crossroads bout. This was the moment to get to that next level if he's ever gonna. And that he was in the best shape of his life heading into this one. And when I looked at the photos, bud, it looked like he was wearing plastics. He was 6 pounds lighter than he was versus the rematch versus Fisher. He was in the best shape of his life. But watching the fight, it made me think, and you made a point to me too during the fight, did he overtrain? Did he leave some of that in the gym? Did he drain himself? Did he lose his strength? And there was a lot of holding. He was gassed at times, And it made me say that more so because he didn't take advantage of some of the flaws of Makhmudov, or some of the openings. He didn't throw with him when opportunities were there. Just want to hear your thoughts. It was a very fun fight, entertaining fight, and Makhmudov gets the unanimous decision win.
Yeah, you're showing your pedigree. You are my son. You are my son. You grew up in a boxing household. There's no doubt about it, because quite a lot of other people, that they just wouldn't be able to pick up on that. And yeah, I said that right away. There has to be a reason. We have to be detectives. We have to be Columbo over here. You got to be a sleuth. You got to be Sherlock Holmes. I'm saying Sherlock Holmes because it was in the UK. I want to make them happy. I want to make the greatest fans in the world, the UK fans, happy. Yeah, you got to be Sherlock Holmes. And we got to figure out why. Why did Allen, in the biggest moment of his life, not pull the trigger? Because if he pulls the trigger, he probably gets the knockout win if he does it. And he didn't. He did in spots, but he just couldn't do it in any prolonged manner at all. And it was there. It was staring at him. It was calling him. It was going, Allen, come punch. Punch, Allen. Kind of like the Field of Dreams when you heard the voice. Come, they will come if you build it. He will fall if you punch. Dave, he will fall if you punch. What is that? What did I hear? But he wasn't able to punch. Richie's looking around. Rich, there's nothing here. It's me. My man Rich, I love that we have a camera guy here who's this passionate, who follows this the way he does. Look, that's the only reason I can come up with. He looked drained at the end when the final bell rang. Even though the guy who drew more punches and was a much bigger man, Makhmudov, he wasn't drained, but Allen was drained. He had to hold on to the ropes at the end. So I think you are spot on. I think I was spot on. I think that he drained himself in training, and he just didn't have the strength. He didn't have the pep, the zest, what a fighter needs to pull the trigger. There were too many blanks in the gun. There weren't enough loaded shells, and you could see it. You could see it. The commentators, they were waiting too. They were like, okay, this is his strategy. He's going to wear him down. He's going to get him into the late waters. He's a big man. He'll wear the big man down, and he'll open up and he'll take him out. But that part never came in spots, and that made it more frustrating, because when you saw him open up in spots, he hit him. He affected him. He hurt him. But he couldn't sustain it. And the only thing I can, putting on my sleuth hat, really my trainer's hat, is that he got drained. He left too much in the gym, where maybe even mentally, where he knew he didn't have it in the tank, so he saved it. Because when you know, then you're going to consciously be more careful, and of course fight at a reduced rate, because you're worried that you will hit that E on the tank. Kind of like driving in a car. All of a sudden you see you're near E, there's no gas stations around. What do? Oh, you shut the air conditioner off. You don't want to eat up any more gas. What do? You slow down a little bit. You want to save gas. It looked like he was doing that. It looked like he was slowing down to save gas. And he wasn't able to, the old saying, it really came in true. He couldn't pull the trigger, or he didn't pull the trigger. So give Makhmudov credit. He's a big son of a gun. He's been knocked out twice by higher level guys. I thought this was a perfect fight, because these are not the higher level guys, but they're at the right level. They're just a little short from that level. It's not a knock on them. They're the right level. And Allen, you got to love him. The people came out for him. He was the English version of Rocky. Remember, Rocky didn't win the first one. Maybe he'll come back. The story might not be over. But Rocky didn't win, but he made himself proud. He got to a big moment. That's what it was for this kid. He's got, what, 9 losses, 8 losses, whatever. This was a real Rocky story. It really was. In its own version. Yeah, a smaller version, but still a version. You got to love Allen. You got to love that he went out there and he had his moment. How many people get a chance to have that moment? Really, it's. I'll use another movie analogy. Just hit me. I didn't plan any of these, but it just hit me. What was that? Braveheart. Braveheart. When Gibson was getting the troops ready, and some of them said, "We don't want to go out. What are we gonna do? We're not gonna die for them. We're not gonna fight them. That English army out there. No, we're not. We're gonna go home, and we're gonna go with our families." And then what's Gibson say? He says, "Oh, yeah, my English, yeah, you can go home and you will live. But then someday, maybe 20 years from now, you will be laying in bed and you will think, if I had one moment where I could have stood up and I could have fought for myself and I could have had my liberty. I could have went out there and I could have been a warrior on one night. Would it have been worth it? Would that one night have been worth an eternity of wondering what it could have been?" Yes, that was Allen. Yes, he had that moment. How many people in life get that moment? Not too many. Not too many. So I see it in that kind of way. And I give him credit for that. It was a hell of an atmosphere. Man, those English fans, they do it right. Sweet Adeline. Whoa. That's my granddaughter. And we changed the lyrics just a little bit to that. But it was really something. I give Makhmudov. I don't want to miss giving him credit. He's been knocked out twice, but he's got a good chin. He's got plenty of heart. He just worked and worked. I knew he would have an edge on the outside. He's longer. He's taller. He'd have the edge on the outside. I knew Allen would have to get close to have his moments. He did get close. He had his moments. Allen showed a granite chin. Wow. And a large heart, just like Makhmudov did. At the end of the day, Makhmudov was much busier, but he was wide open. That's what was frustrating, Bud. He's throwing the jab, his right hand's down. He's standing straight up. I mean, I'm watching him, I'm saying, Allen, all you got to do is slip to your left. Boom! Left hook, and you're catching him. And then how about on the inside? He couldn't miss Makhmudov with the right uppercut. How about putting a left hook with it? I don't know what the corner was telling him, but how about bang, bang instead of bang? Bang, bang. Put the left hook with the right uppercut, and maybe you're the winner. Again, there's a lot of maybes, there's a lot of this, a lot of that. At the end of the day, just a great moment for fighters that might never be at that top level that we talk about. But you know what? They were top Saturday. They were top Saturday at their level. And that's magnificent. And I'll leave one more thing I got to say about this humble Allen. Both of them are humble. Both of them are good humor. I love the camaraderie. I love the respect. I love the sportsmanship. But I love when Allen said to the, how many people? 12,000, whatever it was. He said, I might not be the best. I know that. But you people make me feel like I am. Wow, that almost brings tears. Anyway, beautiful night.
Yeah, no, beautiful job by you. And what you just said, you said it before the fight. No, being a little repetitive, but you nailed this one. We're going to put up so everybody, not just the members at the ropes community, could see your typed up report breaking down your analysis and handicapping for this fight, because it just played out exactly how you just recapped the fight. And there was a lot of opportunities, as you said, for Allen. We touched on why we think he wasn't able to take advantage of some of those and pull the trigger. But the most glaring one, Bud, is he didn't go to the body. And we talked about in the lead-up, Caballero hurt and stopped Makhmudov with a body shot. I thought Allen let him off the hook there, as well as, like you said, not putting something behind the uppercut on the inside. Congratulations, though, to both fighters. They showed unbelievable heart in there. Makhmudov, the clock is ticking. He's 36 years old. I don't see him getting better, but he's fun to watch, right? He's kind of basic with the 1-2. He's got some of the flaws like a Hrgovic. Could that be a fight for the future? They're talking about Anthony Joshua. Maybe it's a rematch versus Guido Vianello. We'll find out soon. Vianello had a big win on that same card this past weekend on Saturday as well. And the final thing I want to say, Bud, is good job by the judges. They got it right? 2 points were deducted from Makhmudov, and it didn't change the outcome, nor should it have. I thought he was in complete control. They don't always get it right. I was a little skeptical waiting for those cards to be read there in the UK, but good job, again, by the judges there.
No, 100%, Bud. 100%. You hit everything just right. You do a great job, Bud. I know that I'm not blowing smoke. You're my son. How the hell can you blow smoke at your own son? You can't. You say it the way it is, and you do a heck of a job. Thank you. And let's move on.
We're going to move on. Before we do, I want to take a quick pause. Just thank today's sponsor, Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens introduces the new AG1 Next Gen. Now includes 5 clinically studied probiotic strains shown to support digestive and immune health with added vitamins and minerals. They've also now have new travel pack designs resulting in a much easier pour to improve the customer experience. So whether you guys are looking to boost your energy levels, support your immune system, or address gut health, Athletic Greens is the way to go. Simply visit athleticgreens.com/atlas to claim your special offer of 10 free travel packs with your first purchase. There they are, Athletic Greens, always with us, always with you. And that's going to take us to the next fight. We're going to stick with the zone, but this was a homecoming fight for Jaron Ennis there in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now, Jaron made his debut at 154 pounds, and he fought Uisma Lima. Now, Lima was making his U.S. debut. He's fought in 6 countries before this, never fought in the United States. And after this one, I don't know if he wants to come back. Ennis, unbelievable performance. He did not waste any time. Obviously, it was a first-round knockout, 3 knockdowns that led to the stoppage. Before we get into that, Bud, I just want to say it again. As you always say in the movie, analyze this. You're good, you.
You got a gift, my friend.
You're good, you. You nailed it. You nailed it again. Not only did you give the community at the ropes the winner, not Ennis at minus 325 by knockout, Ennis under 7.5 rounds at even money, or minus 110, just about even money. You told us exactly what punch would do it. The uppercut.
If Ennis gets inside and wants to be inside and puts punches together, I don't think there's any doubt he's going to catch some good, clean uppercuts or shots.
And that's what started it all. It was the uppercut. And he was never able to recover. And Ennis did what good fighters do. He finished him and didn't give him a chance to recover. He went to the body, put some combinations together, put him to the ground a few more times. In the end, gets the stoppage. Fantastic performance. Debuted at 154, a division that's heating up. He called out Virgil Ortiz after and some others. But I just want to hear your thoughts on the great performance and what you want to see moving forward from Boots Ennis.
Well, I pride myself in shooting it straight. So you do the same thing, and shooting it straight to the people. That's our job. That's our responsibility. I don't care who I'm friends with, not friends with, like, don't like. It doesn't matter. It's not going to sway how I'm going to say something. So I'll start right there and say it. Boots Ennis he's the real package. He's the full package. I've been saying this for a long time. It's no secret. And a lot of people see it. And they had their ups and downs about how they feel about him. But he's the full package. He can fight inside, outside. He can punch. He's got good hand speed. He's technically solid. His father does a good job. He's mentally right. He's got the amateur pedigree. He's the full package. But yeah, he had the right guy in front of him. And look, I'm not saying the guy was this, which if you're only listening, you're not watching, I'm putting my hand low. I'm not saying he's low level instead of real high level. I'm just saying that they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing when they picked this opponent. In a way, you still had to execute. You still have to have the goods. And Ennis has the goods. They have confidence in him. That's what showed. He was a big guy. He's moving up. Ennis was moving up to 154 the first time to go into those waters. And he was fighting a guy who's naturally bigger, been up to middleweight, been at junior middleweight for his whole career. So he's fighting a bigger guy, a strong guy. But they saw what I saw. Yeah, the guy was a game guy. He's only got one loss. But when I watched that tape of his loss, he lost to an undefeated fighter. The first thing I marked down, because I write everything down, I said, yes, he lost a competitive fight here. But the opponent, the undefeated opponent, is nowhere near the level of Ennis. He's nowhere near that level. So that's a little star to me. Teddy, don't forget that. You know, he lost a competitive fight, but don't get crazy. He lost a competitive fight to an undefeated fighter, but he ain't Ennis. And then I saw what made me, what made me pick it. He gets hit, especially on the inside and close, but he gets hit. He stood up. He showed a lot of heart in that fight, but again, it was in a fight with a guy who was not Ennis. And one other thing. Yeah, he got hit, and he got hit with uppercuts. So I made a mark to myself. I said, you can't miss this guy with an uppercut. Now, the other guy hit him with an uppercut too, the fight that I watched. But he didn't follow up. He didn't put them together. Elite fighters, I'll say it again, elite fighters put them together. They finished the job. And then I said, wait a minute. Ennis puts them together. Ennis will therefore finish the job. He will hit him with the uppercut, just like this fighter did, but then he will put them together. He will not allow him, with all the heart he has and a decent chin, he will not allow him to survive. The speed, the level of Ennis will now take over and dominate. Sure enough, bang, bang. That's exactly what happened. I didn't know it was going to happen that fast, to be honest. I'd be a liar if I told you, yeah, I knew it was going to happen in the first round. I thought it would take a couple rounds. But it doesn't matter. What mattered was my reasoning, what I saw, why I made the pick. And that's how I make my picks. You gotta know, hopefully you know your vocation, you know your trade. You know what the hell you're dealing with. And after 50 years, like Customato would tell me, Teddy, if you don't know by now, go sell Italian ices across the street. Get out of here! All right, cuz, I ain't selling no Italian ices, all right? I'm staying right here. I don't train in fighters. I'm with you.
Yeah, that was unbelievable performance by Ennis. Unbelievable breakdown by you. And we're gonna get up the report, like we said, so everybody could take a peek and take a look. The thing that surprised me, or maybe surprised Lima, I should say, is Ennis came out in the orthodox position, the orthodox stance. Right before he landed that big uppercut, which started it all, he switched to southpaw. You think that caught Lima off guard? Do you think that's what it was to set that up, or it was inevitable?
I think it helped. I think that's a good eye by you, a good pickup by you, a good catch by you, 100%. That's why I like having you here with me. You make me better. You make this show better. You do. You challenge me. You remind me of things. You call me on the carpet on things. You point things out that maybe I did, maybe I didn't see. Maybe I should have seen. Or maybe I saw, but I forgot to mention. And, everybody needs a good partner. You're a good partner. Yeah. Yeah, I think that look, I always talk about distraction. You in the football, for NFL top scout, 15 years, director of scouting. What did they do? Misdirection plays. If you had a defense in front of you that was really fast, right? Really fast, what'd you do? You wanted to counter their speed. You wanted to find a way to neutralize their speed, to kind of flip it around on them. So what did you do? You ran a misdirection. You ran one way, whoa, bang, they went right after that, boom, you went back the other way, misdirection. We do the same thing in boxing. Misdirection, where just a little sleight of hand, just a little change, from orthodox to southpaw, whatever it happens, a little flick of the jab, so he looks at the jab, maybe you throw the jab off to the side, boom, and then you throw down the middle. Maybe you move your head to the left, and then you throw the right hand to the right. Just something that diverts the opponent's attention where you can get that punch in clean. And that makes all the difference in the world. And again, who does that? The elite. The elite guys that separate themselves. Those are the things that separate them.
Yeah, absolutely. And now the whole division is on notice. I mean, he called out Vergil Ortiz. 154 is really heating up. I mean, Sebastian Fundora, Charlo's still floating around. We have the boogeyman, Bakram Mochazayev, right? Xander Zayas, a new champion. Vergil Ortiz, an interim champion. A lot of big fights for Boots. And I'm excited to see him versus any of those guys.
There's no free lunch in the junior middleweights. No free lunch. Put a sign up. Junior middleweight, no free lunch, baby. No free. Bring your own.
That's right. Talking about no free lunch, there's never free lunch in the UFC. We're going to switch gears now. We're going to head over to Brazil. Homecoming fight for Charles Oliveira, fighting his home country versus Mateusz Gamrot. And wow, just like Boots Ennis did, very impressive. Didn't waste any time at all. Oliveira, the former lightweight world champion, gets back in the win column. And like I said, but didn't waste any time. I mean, from the first round, he was all over him. He was working submissions. And it just felt like it was only a matter of time until he was able to get it. That time came in the second round. He was able to get the choke, the submission. What'd you make of this one? What'd you think of Charles Oliveira?
He's Charles Oliveira. Never count him out. Yeah, he came off a knockout loss, to the great Topuria. I think Topuria is number one in the whole UFC right now. I mean, there's a lot of guys you can look at. Pereira, Makhachev,
Islam Makhachev.
Makhachev, I want to pronounce his name right, I'm sorry. Makhachev, the other guy, of course, you got Marab, you could go on and on. There's a group that you could just put a lasso if you were a cowboy. If you were a cowboy, you could just lasso around that group. But I think Topuria might be the head of that group all around. We'll see. Of course, they're all different weight classes, or a lot of them are. So you're always gonna wonder who is the top guy. It's always gonna be a matter of your taste and your judgment. But they're all great. But Oliveira is a guy he's one of the greats. Obviously, he's headed to the Hall of Fame. And tell me, Bud, right? Is he the greatest submission artist of all time? I think he is.
He has the most submission wins in the history of the sport, 18. The most finishes, 22. And don't fight him in Brazil. 18 fights in Brazil, never lost, 17 by finish. So, yeah, I would say so.
See, that's why I love you. You do your homework. See what I mean? You do your homework. You're ready. And I have confidence. See how I could go out there on a limb and someone else, I'd be stepping into a freaking Grand Canyon. I'd be stepping into a hole and I would freaking break my other knee, but instead of just my left knee, because I'd be left out there with the guy not having the answers. But you got the answers. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah. What a submission artist he is. He's got a freaking PhD in submission. That's pretty good. You have a PhD in submission? I want to hang out with you. What do you got? You went to MIT? No. What do you got? I have a PhD in submission. Let's go. Let's go out to dinner. Let's go. Let's hang out. All right. So, you know what I like? I like this, his attitude. He's in Brazil, to your point. He's a little stronger. He's in Brazil. He ain't losing there. That's his home. He ain't lose. He's a iconic there. He's a hero there. He's everything, right? He's a god in Brazil, and rightfully so. And he's got that extra power. And I look at things the way I do, and I see it right away. I see it in a different way. I see it where he's striking. He's not a bad striker, by the way, but he does get hit. You know, I mean, they all get hit, but he's striking. We get the first round. I think a mistake was made by Gamrot where he tries to take him down. Like, did you forget this guy's got a PhD in submissions?
It was shocking. 30 seconds into the fight.
Maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Can we rewind this? We got a time machine. We'll rewind it. We'll start over. All right. So that's number one. That's almost like you tried to do that to him in Brazil. That's almost kind of like, here goes another movie. Here goes another one. Right? Goodfellas, where De Niro in the bar says, you insulted him a little bit. You insulted him a little bit.
No. You insulted him a little bit. You got a little out of order yourself.
No, I didn't insult him. I didn't insult him.
Insulted him a little bit.
He might have insulted Oliveira. He might have insulted him a little bit. You're going to try to take me down here in my home? You haven't heard who I am? I am the submission artist. So that goes by the boards, right? And then they do some striking, right? And then the second round, it's like Oliveira said, nah, I'm gonna strike. You tried to take me down? No, I'm gonna strike with you now. I'm gonna show you that I can beat you any way I want. But I'm gonna strike you with an intent. See, I saw an intent. The intent wasn't just to win a marvelous striking game. The intent was to be the boss. The intent was to back him up. The intent was to put him on the back foot. The intent was to make him defensive. The intent was to get him in position where then he could do what he does. Take him to the floor and finish him. Kind of like I described the bear, the lion. Take him to the cave and have your way. Do what you got to do in the cave. Eat them. And that's the attitude I saw, where he's backing him up behind the jab. He got hit some good counters, but he took them. He's backing him up, putting the right hand with it, backing him up, telling him, I will finish you when I want to, on my terms. You come to my home and you insult me. No. I will insult you. I will strike with you. And then I will finish you. And that's what he did. And then I want to finish with this. We know how fast he is. We know how strong he is. We know how marvelous he is on that floor. Right, Rich? He's incredible, right? We know all that because Rich is an MMA guy. Rich is an MMA guy who's had some experience with MMA, so he loves when we do UFC. And so we know that. We know all those, his talent. But man, he's smart. Right, Bud? How about his IQ? How about his IQ on the floor? How smart he is. How quick he is. How strong he is. But how smart. He knows every freaking twitch, every move, every angle. You think you got him in one place, he gets you in another. You think you got him underneath, he gets on top. You think you got him near the fence, he switches off the fence. He gets position. What did I say about Ennis? He's the full package? Oliveira's the full package.
Yeah, that breakdown was the full package. Really enjoyed listening to you. That was excellent. And the one thing I was saying, I'll add to and piggyback off of you when you touched on Topuria, that's what made it so impressive to me. Just 3.5 months ago, he suffered a devastating knockout loss in the first round. You would have never known by watching this performance and what he does to Gamrot. I mean, he made him look like a novice, Gamrot. Ran right through him to your points, did whatever he wanted. You knew the finish was coming, just which way does he want to do it? And he did it the way he wanted in the second round. And just what a scene, bud. I mean, just seeing the celebration there with his family jumping out of the octagon made me happy. It was awesome.
So, but I'm so glad you brought that up because to be, I'm going to use my own analogy, which I do, I'm kind of known for, and jumping all over the place, but getting to the right place at the end. You got to be like a good golfer to be a great, in this case, UFC champion or fighter. You got to forget about that bad shot. You got to put in the rearview mirror. You have to have a short memory in that way. You just put it in the sand. Oh my God, you put it in the lake. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, now you get up there and you freaking, you bogey. You got to 10 times you miss a putt because your mind ain't right. No. Jack Nicholson, Tiger Woods. No, their minds were right. That's why they were great golfers. Because they forgot that and they concentrated on what was. What is, not what was. So, same thing here. That's a great point. Oliveira was able to put that in the rearview mirror. That's a hard one. That's even worse than putting a little white ball in the lake and getting your knickers all wet. I got wet. My socks are wet. Okay, but you get knocked out and like you said, months later, you're in there with a guy like Gamrot and you're able to push that all to the side and have this kind of performance, yeah, that shows you the mental level of these guys. That is the key.
Yeah, no question. And talking about the mental level, BMF belt next, Max Holloway, man, sign me up. That would be incredible. Anytime any of these guys fight, it doesn't matter who, we know what we're going to get. And we got it again with Charles Oliveira this past weekend. So that wraps up all the recaps from the fight action from this past week. Before signing off, we want to revisit a special fight from last week. And that was Dana White's Contender Series. One of the best MMA fights that I've seen. And that was Adrian Martinetti versus Mark Vogodan. Now this show, we always talk about a fight isn't a fight until there's something to overcome, until there's resistance. This was the definition of a fight. This was the definition of what fighters are. We talk about it all the time. The will, the heart, the determination, the resilience. This fight had it all, bud. Just want to get your thoughts on these two warriors.
Unbelievable. Wow. So much. I want to put, I feel like I'm in that position of having 10 pounds of stuff and I got to put it in a 5-pound bag. Like, how do I do this? Because it's that much stuff, and it's that good, and it's that special. And both these guys deserve a whole show. But we can't give them a whole show. I just hope I can do in a few minutes justice, really, for the people that haven't seen this, and the people that have seen it. But especially for the ones who haven't seen it. The first thing I say is, it invokes the thought of when people say, you got to be hungry. Really, the simplest phrase in the world. Oh, you got to be hungry. You can't be a guy that's already made a lot of money because it changes to whatever. But, man, this fits to that. Because, as you said, this was their chance to go to the big leagues. They were hungry. This is their chance to get caught up. You win, you get caught up. And it showed the way they fought. And I've often said this. It's in our genes. It's in our blood. It's part of humanity. It really is. If you go back to our history of being, of when we first came to this, when we first started walking on this planet. We were walking crooked, a little crooked and a little hairier and crooked. And we started to slowly straighten up. But what was it all about? It never leaves us. It never leaves us. From the Genesis, from the very beginning. 4 words. Conquer or be conquered. Otherwise, we didn't exist. We didn't get to the next day. Conquer or be conquered. These two guys, they brought us back to our beginning, to our roots, to our bloodlines, to something that never leaves us. We wouldn't be here today if we didn't have that. Yeah, we've become more civilized, I hope. Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I look at the world out there and I say, oh my God, for every 3 steps forward, we went back 2 steps. Like, what are we doing? But, in truth, what has allowed us to stay here and overcome the things that we've overcome, and we've overcome a lot as a species. And we have a lot still to overcome in a lot of different ways now, different challenges. But the one thing that has allowed us to remain, as people say, the dinosaurs are gone, all the bigger, stronger, beasts on this planet are all gone. We're not. Because we always had that understanding. Conquer or be conquered. And we refuse to be conquered as a species. And they showed that. And that's extraordinary. They showed that. They just refused to be conquered. Refused. Whoever made up that phrase, that they coined the phrase that this sport is the blood and guts, when they would say to describe a fight, they had to have these two men in mind. Because that's all it was. That's everything it was. Conquer or be conquered. And they both refused to be conquered. And in the end, they weren't. Because their wills were that strong, that forged in the fire. And Dana White, the head of the UFC, who's done a brilliant job developing this brand, building this brand, he understood that. He understood that. He would not let them be conquered because he gave a contract to both. And rightfully so. To both! Because only one was supposed to get it. Yeah, conquer or be conquered. We ain't being conquered. And they reminded us of that. We ain't being conquered.
Beautifully said. Those words were great, well-deserved for both of those two warriors. And as you said, and great job by Dana White, there was no loser, that's for sure. Dana had to go sign Volodin, because if he didn't, somebody was gonna. I wish I could sign that guy for something, just to have him in my corner. Unbelievable. I mean, you talk about never saying no and not giving an inch or backing up. I never seen a man take so many knees to the body as viciously as he did. And just... I'll take more, whatever it takes. I will not give in. Incredible.
Yeah, listen, I'm not knocking anyone here, but the great Bo Nichols, the great wrestler, right? And he was being projected as being one of the greats, and he was on that path. And then he fought Ritter. More experienced guy, big guy, more experienced, but that was his fight. That was the one. And Ritter took him out with the knees to the body. Just what you're talking about. And Bo Nickal will have his moment to come back. I'm sure he will. But these two guys, that's the key. They were hungry. They weren't that guy. And I'm not taking nothing away from him. I swear to you, I'm not. Bo Nickal's great. But I'm just making a point here. They didn't have that. They never had their moment. This was their moment. They were never going to have another moment. Never. Bo Nickal will get another moment, and he'll make the most of it, I'm sure. But these guys knew, no, one and done. This is the moment. There ain't no other moment. Where we come from, no, there ain't no other moment. And that's why they behaved that way. They had no choice.
I'm glad we covered and we revisited this. Our man Bennett was the one who told me, got to go take a peek and watch this. So thank you, Bennett. And I hope all of you just enjoyed those
Bennett.
words. And
thank you. We got a great team, Bennett and Richie. Take a bow, both of you. Thank you.
I know Richie is smiling right now. What a tear he's on. All of his favorites. He's got Potan, Yuri, Marab, Oliveira. 4 for 4. Good job, Rich. Congratulations. Good job by you, bud. That was a great recap of fights this week. You touched on DeRitter. He'll be fighting Allen UFC Fight Night next week. We'll be back. We'll circle back. We'll recap that. But before we sign off, we say goodbye until next week. Give it to you, bud. Any final words?
Yeah, actually, one more movie. You want one more movie? You want one more movie? I'm asking you. Do you want the truth? You answer the truth. You want one more movie?
Yes.
All right. The two great fighters that we just talked about, Martinetti and Voldon, at the end, when the classic old movie, James Cagney movie, classic old movie, White Heat, at the end, it was a gangster, all that stuff, but that's not the point. At the end, he's on top of the building, and he yells, "Top of the world, Ma! Top of the world, Ma!" Rated Ma! Top of the world! Those two guys on top of the world, that moment for them, they could have yelled to their ma's, "Top of the world, Ma! Top of the world, Ma!" God bless everybody.
That was a beautiful way to end it. You always say that in this sport, you can make life fair, no matter what you come from. Those guys made it fair. David Allen did as well. It was a powerful week of fights. It was powerful listening to you. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe. We'll be back again with you next week.